Hi, how are you today,
Good
Miriam?
morning, Rachelle. What a beautiful day here in Nahariya in Rachelle Cafe. Come out, give them some business. Come to Israel. It looks on the news like it's so scary, but you have no idea how calm it is here. It's like we're on a
Beautiful.
vacation all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But we
And
just,
it's not like there's not any place in the world that's not scary right now.
how
So,
true. So we just came from another restaurant because that's what we do. We go from one restaurant to another, and
not always, but we also work sometimes.
but we happen to do a lot of learning in the local restaurants, and we were talking about Tehillim, and we were talking about human reactions and human ability to deal with the situations that they're in. And I was asking Miriam, I said that, I'm speaking to people that are suffering the effects of the war. They're finding it very difficult to focus, to be creative. They're resorting to drugs and alcohol to try to deal with the pain and the confusion that they're in.
So many soldiers being traumatized
Yes,
on as another layer to all the trauma that we are all carrying from our past, from our lives.
so a gentleman who was attending the other year happens to be a psychology professor, and he spoke about the area of epigenetics to teach us that we don't have to be victims to our hormones and to our genetics. That if we
Biology.
that if we work on our attitude, that we can literally control these things within us. And I asked Miriam, I said, well, how can we, if we're in a trauma, or if we're going through a divorce, or we're going through an illness, how can you control your attitude all the time? That gives you even more responsibility over your physical health. And so how?
So the Torah comes to tell us. Basically, the Torah is talking about epigenetics, whatever, 4,000 years ago.
Not surprised.
When it says a couple of things. First of all, it says, well, that's something 2,000 years ago, but it says um, everything is in the hands of God except for the awe of God, which is, in other words, you're not going to control the circumstances. You're not going to control what's happening to you in your life. Life is going to bring sweetness and bitterness, but the only thing you can control is your attitude.
Okay, how?
So we did know the biological aspect and how it actually affects us, but now we know with epigenetics that when we change our attitude and reduce our cortisol, we basically bring a chain reaction of all of our hormones that behave in a different way and restructure our biology.
That's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Because we always thought the cart went before the horse,
Right, basically.
and we were victims of our
Yeah. That's
genetics.
the big news of this generation.
That's amazing.
And just like if anybody heard about starving cancer, for example,
Mm.
the idea is that when you eat a broccoli, you see on an ultrasound right away how the cancer reduces.
Wow.
And when you eat, I don't know, chicken filled with hormones, you right away see, obviously, an organic broccoli, is better than a non-organic one. And when you see with all the pesticides and whatever, and when you see and you see your cancer growing right on the spot when you eat something that's not healthy.
Wow.
So
Wow.
sugar, gluten, hormonal food, animals with hormones.
Yes.
Right away you see your cancer growing again. And same thing on the spiritual level is you are stressed, right away your cortisol, your stress hormone grows.
Mm-hmm.
And once your stress hormone grows, your whole hormonal chain reaction is a negative one, and it creates an illness, an infection in your body. And it creates an emotional response and creates a biological response.
Wow.
And, and you just move on to being unwell emotionally and unwell physically, or less well.
Yeah.
And the more you're carrying that cortisol around with you, if you carry it over time for a long time, and you say, but what can I do? My life is stressful all the time,
That's right.
financially, emotionally, with my spouse, with the war, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You can't give in to that. Just like your kidneys and your liver don't give in to cleaning our body all the time, all the time, all the time. They don't say we're going on a break today, we're going on a vacation. If they go on a vacation, God forbid, we're in big trouble. Same thing with our consciousness. Can't say to our we can't say in our
Wow.
consciousness, I want to break from working on my consciousness, working on my attitude. I have to reground, rebalance myself all the time, all the time. I have a negative thought about someone, right away think, how do I switch it to a positive one? Somebody annoys me, right away I say, okay, what good can I say about that person? Yeah, they annoy me, but can I say one good thing about them? Can I find one good thing? Can I at least look for a good thing? Maybe I can't find it even now, but can I at least look for one good thing in them?
And then we went on to talk about um, the acceptance of the fact that life is about challenges. That, I told you how I grew up in a house where my parents tried very hard to keep change down to a minimum. But that's not the reality. The reality is that everything's changing every single day. And even within their relationship and their state of health and their financial situation was changing. They try to protect us from it. I found it took me a long time to accept that it's not in life, it's not about, well, I have to, work towards like a calm life, maybe if I have enough money, maybe if I have enough things, I'll be, that's the goal, to try to get to a place of calm, because that's where we came from. That's how it was in the Ein Sof when we were just vessels. But that's not what God put us here for. He gave us everything as a tool to overcome those challenges and to move forward. But when you overcome these challenges, there's wonderful things that come out of it.
Right.
And people don't understand that or see it.
Right. Totally. Who are the most resilient people I've met in my life? The most resilient people I've met in my life are those who have gone through troubles from the first day